so then Colt says to me, Bumper, I don't even know her.
Really?
Eh?
God. I'm glad we weren't recording. Oh, hi!
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 Oh.
Welcome to the Smackdown Rundown.
Episode 116?
Yeah. Coming off the heels of a very hot Monday Night Raw with Kevin Owens becoming the new Universal Champion. Smackdown did some good build towards Backlash. There was some fun stuff. There was some weird stuff, too. So we'll get right into it. We opened up showing the recap of what happened between The Miz and Daniel Bryan last week on Talking Smack. And then Shane telling Daniel, like, hey, you really shouldn't be, you shouldn't be inciting the talent. Talking Smack
You shouldn't be calling them out.
Yeah, you shouldn't be, getting confrontational. And Daniel's like, yeah, I guess next time I just won't be so honest. But I do find it ironic that this advice is coming from a guy who has beef with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And Shane had no comeback.
Yeah, the other thing I thought was interesting is that they had agreed on that Daniel Bryan should apologize to The Miz, but we never actually saw it happen.
Yeah,
so I don't know if it was implied that he did backstage, or if maybe he was supposed to and didn't, or maybe
I think what it was, Miz wasn't going to accept it because we started SmackDown with Miz making a beeline towards the ring. He didn't even wait for his music to start. It started when he was halfway down the ramp.
Yep.
He storms in the ring and just goes off. Like, Miz is just ready to just tear down everyone that's in front of him. And at one point he does say that, for the last week I've had, my colleagues and people online and my GM, my GM wants to try to apologize to me. Well, no, it doesn't matter because it's taken me 148 days to get people's attention. And he just starts hitting all the same points that he hit in the Talking Smack segment last week, saying that, he doesn't get hurt because he wrestles to avoid getting hurt. And so, amidst this just rage that...
And he turns it into a good, heely, I'm better than you version of the same promo, because he goes, yeah, I don't, it's like, I don't get hit because I'm that good. I know how to avoid getting hit. I know how to avoid getting punched in the face. That's why I don't get... that's why my face still looks good. That's why I don't get hurt. I know how... I'm good enough that I know how to avoid getting hurt.
Yeah.
And then someone who's not necessarily has the best track record of not getting hurt,
yeah.
Dolph Ziggler.
Someone who does enjoy taking risks from time to time.
Makes his way to the ring and cuts another really impassionate promo. So we got two really just guttural, emotional promos back to back.
Yeah, and I love that Ziggler's main point was to let The Miz know that, yeah, you are, you're good at what you do and you have a championship, but the problem is the people that are out here and do get hurt and put their bodies on the line, they're here because they love it. You're just here to be famous.
Yeah.
Really sticking it to The Miz. You don't care about, being a wrestler. You don't care about being a champion. You care about walking red carpets. You care about the attention. You care about people just liking you. It has nothing to do with the business. And so then that fires The Miz up again.
Yeah, and then Dolph basically says, prove me wrong. Fight me right now. Prove everyone who agreed with Daniel Bryan wrong. Prove everyone wrong. Prove you're not a coward. Prove you're not soft. Fight me right now. And The Miz, in grand Miz fashion, doesn't fight him.
Yeah. It was good, though. There was, Maurice actually had to tell him to go to the back. Yeah. Because he was going to walk away, and then Dolph Ziggler called him back, and then she actually had to, say, no, go to the back. He's got you right where he wants you. Don't do it. Go to the back. So Maurice probably saved The Miz from a Dolph Ziggler beatdown. So, exciting. I'm very interested.
Or maybe she saved Dolph Ziggler.
Maybe. We do now know that Daniel Bryan has made it official that Dolph Ziggler will challenge for the Intercontinental title at Backlash. So, we can look forward to that. Speaking of titles, we kept going with the tag team tournament, where we will decide the new SmackDown tag team champions at Backlash, where we had the Hype Bros quickly and expectedly defeat the Vaudevillains. Nothing out of the ordinary there. couple of good shots in the match, though. You kind of reiterating your appreciation for the vaudevillains.
Yeah, the one thing I like about the vaudevillains is, and this is a thing that I saw out of really early Enzo and Cass. When they first became babyfaces.
A lot of NXT tag teams do this. I think this has got to be something that I don't know if it's Triple H or whoever's working down at the Performance Center, but they're instilling this be a team, be a unit type of mentality on these guys.
Yeah, and so one thing is I remember seeing a lot of Enzo and Cass do this when they first started getting really popular.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much anymore. But for the vaudevillains, it's been a much more staple thing in their repertoire. Is when one guy is about to get dove on by somebody, Zack Ryder was about to do a drop kick through the ropes to Aiden English, and Simon Gotch pushed him out of the way and took the bullet.
Yeah.
Which is something they did over and over again in NXT.
Yeah. I think Dash and Dawson do it.
On occasions, yeah.
On occasions too. So, it's a good addition. It makes it seem like there's a lot of cohesion there, that someone is willing to take a shot for the other person to give not only that person more, keep that person fresh, but give the team an advantage, because it's usually the non-legal person is giving whomever is actually legal in the match the advantage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a good thing there, and then good work between Ryder and Raleigh. They hit a broski boot on Simon Gotch, and then Raleigh fucking whacked Aiden right in the face with a punch, and then they hit the Hype Rider, and they move on, and they will actually face the winners of the last tag team match that we have. Before we get there, we actually got to look into Heath Slater's home. We went to Slater country.
Yeah, West Virginia.
Where Renee interviewed Slater, his wife, and Rhyno.
And Rhyno interviewed a can of Cheese Whiz.
Yes.
Which apparently the Cheese Whiz was sad.
This harkened back to Jamie Noble and Nydia.
A little bit.
That was definitely the vibe I got, which is great because, Heath Slater's never said that he's the trailer living kind of, honky-tonk kind of guy like Jamie Noble was. Jamie Noble was the country redneck.
I think it was implied, though.
It's always been, when he started, he was the one-man southern rock band.
Yeah.
So it's always been implied, but it's never really been expanded upon until now. And so we see that he's living in a trailer. We've got Rhyno staring creepily out the window. His wife is making hors d'oeuvres, which is a fake silver platter with crackers and little weenies and Cheese Whiz, and Rhyno just starts going to fucking town on it.
Yeah.
He's eating cracker after cracker. And
drawing pictures with the Cheese Whiz on the crackers.
Yeah, it was right as Renee was asking Heath about confronting Brock Lesnar. I was like, how did you feel when you went into that? And as she says that, the camera goes over and Rhino's drawing a frowny face on the cracker.
He's making edible emojis.
And
so I'm saying right now, I'm going to petition to get Rhyno on the next episode of Nerdy Nummies with Rosanna Pansino.
The contrast in an episode like that would be ridiculous. And then we find out that, unfortunately we don't get to meet
Slater's kids.
Their kids because, no, they're not at school. They're out back picking up cans and bottles. And then, it's
gotta make them payments on that pool.
Yeah. It was a hilarious segment. It actually gave depth to the Heath Slater character.
And the funny part too is that Heath gets up and walks away because there's the sound of some car peeling outside.
Yeah. And it's one of his neighbors apparently does this on a neighbor named Roscoe is apparently someone who does this on the regular. So him and his wife go storming out
and
what the hell are you doing?
Rhyno just starts staring creepily at Renee.
He gives googly eyes to Renee. Oh my god. I don't know where this is going.
I kind of just want to see them accidentally wander into the Wyatt family compound.
The Wyatt family compound is on the outskirts of whatever town they live in.
West Virginia. It's just West Virginia town.
We'll go straight to that match where Rhyno and Heath Slater are taking on the returning Headbangers.
Yeah, blast from the past.
Mosh and Thrasher from the Attitude Era are back on SmackDown. On SmackDown for now. I'm not sure how long they're going to be around. Still looking good.
Yeah.
Still moving around like the Headbangers always did. Mosh freaking me out with that triangle clothesline to the outside, which I was not expecting. But apparently that was the thing that he did on the regular. And a decent short match where Heath Slater gets his ass kicked for most of the match. And then Mosh throws one wicked elbow and catches Rhyno right in the corner of his eye.
Yeah.
And as Rhyno breaks up a pin after the Headbangers hit the stage dive on Slater, he knocks Mosh out of the ring, knocks down Thrasher, drags Slater over to the corner, tags himself in. You see blood just streaming down Rhino's face, gores Thrasher, and Rhyno and Heath Slater are going to the semifinals to face the Hype Bros.
Yeah.
So
let's go Rhyno and Heath.
So we have Rhyno and Heath taking on the Hype Bros. And on the other side, we'll have the Usos versus American Alpha. So, interesting to see where this is going to go.
Who knows?
But I know that this man will lose his goddamn mind if Rhyno and Heath Slater eliminate the Hype Bros.
Yeah, especially if Rhyno gores Mojo Rawley.
Yes.
Which I know more than likely it'll be a gore on Zack Ryder. But I can dream.
Something that because I watched it live when it was on TV. You didn't watch it live, but we watched a different stream. Apparently, Raw is just getting Clash of Champions. It is strictly a Raw pay-per-view.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but that's the way it's going to be. And then we'll talk about the Sermon for the Serpent. This is building a little bit more tension between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton for... this was actually Bray Wyatt's ultimately challenging Randy Orton to a match at Backlash. Bray Wyatt kind of does his normal thing. My favorite part of this was Randy Orton, kind of switching everything that Bray was saying, back at him.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Bray was, kind of getting excited. Every time Randy admitted to something that Bray said, he's like, yeah, I am damaged. I've been damaged for a long time. And it looked like Bray Wyatt got even more into the idea of facing Randy Orton in a match.
It seems like the end game is that Bray wants to face the legend killer Randy Orton, the frothing at the mouth, kicking Harley Race in the head Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Did he actually punt Harley Race?
He
on him. That's what he did.
Yeah, he spit on Harley. I can't remember who he punted.
A lot of people.
Well, he punted Vince. He punted Shane.
Cena Senior.
Yeah, Cena.
I feel like he wants to get that Randy Orton back. He wants to pull that Randy Orton out of current day Randy Orton and fight that.
Mm.
So I don't know. The end game is probably a decent build up to Bray Wyatt losing another feud.
Unfortunately, Bray Wyatt is, despite it being a brand split, he's still a glorified jobber.
Hell yeah.
And then one more match before we get to the thing that kind of arced throughout the night. We had Alexa Bliss and Natalya taking on Naomi and Becky Lynch, while Nikki was at commentary. Decent tag team match.
This was, again, just a means to the end of building up the 6-pack challenge that they're going to have at Backlash.
Yeah. Match is going. Becky's in the driver's seat. She does a big drop kick off the top rope to Alexa. Thank you. But as she's getting ready to finish the match, Nikki ends up getting attacked by Carmella, who runs through the crowd. That's good.
Carmella's just getting gangster with it now.
No, that's the bit that I like of this, is that Carmella is not backing down. She's taking every advantage she can to attack Nikki, and it's getting the statement into everyone's head that Carmella doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
She will attack you whenever she wants. So her and Nikki have a good fight where Nikki actually like rams her into the ring apron, and then she gets flung into the barricade, and while Carmella's trash talking, that for some reason distracts Becky, and then for some reason we go back to being divas for a second, and Alexa rolls up Becky for the win. I didn't like that part.
I give it to them a little bit. I didn't like the roll up. Again, I would have just been more, or even if it was something other than just like the plain schoolboy roll up, if it had been like an O'Connor roll or something a little more intricate. But like for me, I feel like she should have like turned her around and did her little choke slam.
Yeah,
Kind of move or something.
I think for me, the one thing that would have changed it is, I get that they're both faces, but they're still gonna be opponents, and I don't think Becky should care what's happening to Nikki.
But that's the exact antithesis of what Becky Lynch's character has been thus far. That's always been her downfall, is caring about people too much, which is like every storyline she's been in WWE has been somebody turning on her.
Okay.
You know, so this is Becky Lynch's caring ways, and I think to a degree also is, you know, if there's a big commotion outside the ring during your match, it could be confusing.
Yeah.
And it could be also chalked up to the fact that Becky Lynch is also sort of confused and trying to figure out why Carmella's being a bitch all of a sudden.
Yeah. I think the one thing that would have changed it for me is had the referee actually gone out to try and stop the fight between Carmella and Nikki, and then while Becky is saying, hey ref, you need to get back in the ring, then have Alexa do the whole slam her against the ropes and do something. That would have made it better. But Alexa Bliss and Natalya pick up the win, Carmella talks shit, and all the babyface women are down and out. Okay, so our overall...
And Naomi's got new glasses.
Yeah, they wiggle in the neon lights that she's got going on. It's fucking crazy. So yeah, the overarching story that we had throughout the night involved AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Which started with a backstage confrontation between him and Apollo Crews, where he was introducing himself, and then he got to Apollo Crews. He's like, oh, the guy who I don't care enough to remember your name. And they start talking, and he spells out his last name, that, you know, he's Apollo.
Is it Creed?
No, it's Crews. Crews. And AJ's like, you know, this isn't spelling bee, right? And blah, blah, blah. So AJ ends up heading to the outside after talking some trash to Apollo Crews. He's in the ring. He now wants to be referred to as the face that runs the place. That's a good heel move. I like that. And he starts...
The leader of the C Nation.
Yeah.
That's next week.
I hope so. I so hope so. So yeah, he's out...
And the 15-time world champ.
Yes. No. He's out there talking about how he's the guy that beat John Cena, he's the face that runs the place, and he's going to be the guy that's going to beat Dean Ambrose.
And he's also going to be the guy who gets challenged by Apollo Crews.
What?
Yep.
Well, it's a good thing Daniel Bryan approved that, because it'd be kind of weird if Apollo Crews just like going around making matches or something, like he's some general manager or something. But yeah, we do get AJ Styles versus Apollo Crews.
Good match.
Yeah, decent short little match. Apollo Crews, not necessarily on the winning side of things, but he's had some matches where he gets to show off a bit more.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's building towards him getting some sort of run. Not sure what it would be. But yeah, he ends up trying to
Curse of NXT.
What?
So it's the Curse of NXT.
The Curse of NXT?
It's about only 1 out of every 4 people who get called up to the main roster get good storylines.
I think it's the curse of not being in NXT long enough. But, yeah, he ends up trying to go for a splash on AJ Styles in the corner. AJ catches him with a kick and actually, Banderas himself to the outside. Ends up hanging Apollo Crews up on the top rope. Hits the Styles crash. Picks up the win. The Phenomenal Forearm, if you want to call it that. And, yeah, AJ Styles picks up the win. And we'd actually see him come out later for the main event, which is the first ever one-on-one match between Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin.
So I was super excited.
Yeah. And then the Milkman was in the ring.
Yup.
Took his clothes off and got chokeslammed by Kane.
Sounds like my Friday nights a couple years ago.
Did you, on the regular, take your clothes off, get chokeslammed by Kane?
More often than I'd like to admit.
Why did you never get me Kane's autograph, you son of a bitch?
Because he was chokeslamming me.
You could have asked while you were in the air. There's enough time to go, come my friend, get an autograph!
Well, I was too busy trying to get my pants back on.
Oh, fair enough. Anyway, we don't know what the fuck this was. Probably just because
it was legitimately only a vessel to get Kane and Baron Corbin to walk by each other on this show.
Yeah. So, yeah, Corbin makes his way out. Him and Kane pass each other. And Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose have a decent fight. It was a brawly type of match. Both guys shown a little bit. AJ Styles talking trash.
I honestly was sort of weirded out by watching Baron Corbin get beat up a lot.
Especially by a guy who's like half his size.
Yeah, because, I mean, Baron Corbin, like, that was his shtick in NXT, was like the guy who beat everybody in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then, you know, even the people he didn't, he still would have, like, you know, he would dominate 90% of the match. Whereas, like, right off the get-go, you know, Dean's throwing him outside the ring and bashing his head to the commentator's table and beating him up. And I'm like, this is just so weird to see, like, Baron Corbin, like, backpedaling.
Yeah. And then once he does finally get the advantage, he's got Dean Ambrose on the outside, got him up against the barricade, and AJ is, like, yelling. It actually gets off the commentator's table and goes over and goes, hey, you need to stay on him. Stay on him, keep beating him down. And then Baron Corbin's like, don't tell me what to do. Nobody here tells me what to do. Dean Ambrose ends up hitting Baron Corbin, which takes out AJ Styles. Him and Corbin end up going back inside, and as they're fighting around, Corbin tries to shove Dean Ambrose into the ropes where Styles is getting ready to do a kick, but Corbin gets hit instead, so Corbin wins the match. Yep. And then there's a fight on the outside, and then Baron Corbin ends up getting tossed back into the ring and gets hit with dirty deeds. And as Dean's like, yeah, he's talking trash, there's no music playing because Styles is getting ready to hit the phenomenal forearm. He ends up going up for the springboard and then gets crushed on the top rope by Ambrose, who just sits there and, like, he's like, oh man, you're in a bad situation here. It's like patting him on the shoulders.
I think he thanked him for doing commentary.
Something like that.
Shook his hand.
He shook the ropes while AJ's still up there. Asked for his title, and he walked away while AJ was just still hung up on the top rope.
So loud.
At one point he was on the I thought he was like trying to like emulate the creepy laugh that broken Matt Hardy does, where it's just like it's just like completely over the top. I don't know, but yeah. So some interesting.
There you have it.
Some interesting stuff happened on SmackDown. Some better than others, but I can't say
the real star of the show was Rhyno.
Oh yeah, yeah. Rhyno and Slater stole the show. I don't even know. It was. I mean, I can't say it was a bad episode of SmackDown.
It was decent.
Still good. So that's it for the SmackDown rundown. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe.
Click all the links down in the description. We'll send you all of the social medias. Those of you watching on YouTube, if you want to listen to our regular
podcast.
Yes. If you want to listen to our 4 regular interviews, or our reviews, not interviews. We don't do interviews, not yet at least. You can check them out on the SoundCloud link. For those of you listening to SoundCloud right now, head over to the YouTube, because you only get those 4 on the podcast. If you want all the extra stuff we do, like pay-per-view reviews, pay-per-view predictions, Cruiserweight Classic, you'll need to come over to the YouTubes.
Top 5, which I'll be doing at the end of the week.
We'll be doing a top 5 this week for the month of August.
August is over.
Also, click over to our other channel. That's Reasonable Wrestling Fans. That's down in the description as well, where you get the YouTubier side of the guys you see over here. We've
Challenges.
Unboxing videos.
Not reviews. That's what we do here. Reactions. That's another thing that starts with R.
Debates. Fantasy Warfare style.
Yeah. And very, very soon, I'm going to hit this fool with a kendo stick.
Yeah. Still not excited.
Still all day excited.
Be sure to join us tomorrow for the midweek wrap-up, and then the
Be sure to join him tomorrow for the midweek wrap-up.
Yeah, that's right. Because you're not going to be here.
Because I am going to be on vacation.
Come keep me company for a couple of days as I talk about NXT and the next installment of the Cruiserweight Classic. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
Fuck Mojo Rawley.
Fuck the Milkman.
And you know what? Fuck him too. Kane kind of already did though.
Yeah. Thanks, Kane.